Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thank you once again for listening to the podcast. Wouldn't it be funny if I did my
Daily Podcast
show with this kind of voice? But I don't, because it's not my voice. I was just kind of kidding as I sang all over the people that I love so much. My Uncle Yop and Aunt Katrine, and I sang over myself. That's not very nice. I can't believe I am singing this song to you because it's funny things I do things like this. Because the name of the show is called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I'm so thankful that you are listening to me today in Podcastro Valley 10 today as we hit
Mike's
the episode
Daily
episode number
Podcast
1825 I think is where we are today. And I am going to talk to you about people that I think you should stay away from. Yes, those people are called negative people. Negative. Stay away from them. Okay, it was a year ago that I mentioned that I had met some very positive people. And I didn't say what their names were, but I did say that they were very positive and they were very nice. Little did I know that one of those people that I met that day would become my lovely lady friend, whom I've been dating for almost a year. And she was one of these positive people that I met. And it made me think, as I recounted on that podcast, which I'm not going to try and find for you now because I don't do that kind of thing on my show. That kind of thing, namely work on my show. But yes, that we surround ourselves often with negative people. All they do is complain. My foot hurts. Wait a minute, that was me. That was me about a year ago. My foot was hurting because I was walking Basil the Boxer quite a bit. But today, my arms are hurting because I was walking Basil the Boxer. But that's a good thing because...
And here's today's podcast picture.
He had a great time, and I was picking him up with the harness, helping him with his back legs. It was great. And the podcast picture today, not a Basil, because we had him in the last photo. We'll go to Lake Elizabeth in Fremont, where I saw some squirrels hanging out by the lake. Usually there's a bunch of ducks and swans. Ooh, that was an odd sight. On Friday, I was in Fremont walking from the BART station to my job, and I see a Canadian goose walking across the street, and I joke, yeah, why did the Canadian goose walk across the road? Because he wanted to seek asylum in the U.S. because Canada is a horrible, horrible country. Ugh! No, I'm kidding. It's a wonderful country. Basil agrees. He's saying, poutine. Not Putin, but poutine. I think that's what that stuff is, isn't it? With the fries and the gravy and all that. So we had a wonderful walk, and part of the deal is I have to kind of hold him up, his back legs, with my arms using the harness. So I'm feeling my arms, I'm feeling my wrists, I'm feeling the grip factor in my hands, which I know at some point will lead to horrible arthritis later in my life. Or maybe not. Maybe it's going to help. The point is, surround yourself with positive people, not the negative people complaining about their wrists, not the negative podcasts that complain about Trump. Oh, Trump is horrible. Oh, I don't like Democrats. Oh, I don't like... Who needs that? That doesn't get us anywhere. That doesn't do anything for us. Positive people do things for us. Positive people, and I'm still with this wonderful positive person. I would like to teach you a phrase, a sentence, if you will, that you can say all of this upcoming week that's about to happen. Here's the word, here's the phrase that pays. And that is, sorry, a little bit of my radio background just got into my podcast. The phrase that I want you to remember is not a problem. Say that. Don't go with no worries, because that reminds me... Actually, the first time I heard the phrase "no worries," it was from a Canadian that I was friends with living in the U.S., and he would say, "No worries," and of course that's an Australian thing. No worries, mate. And then no worries got picked up by every single millennial that I know, and that's fine. But no, I want you to say not a problem, because there is not a problem that you can't handle. There is not a problem that, well, not all problems can be solved. I will say that. There are a lot that still confound me. I still don't know what happened. Like some things that I've lost, like items that I have lost that I've never found again. That's a mystery. Or, for example, at one of my jobs, someone apparently peed in the trash can. Let me repeat that. Peed in the garbage at one of my jobs. Yes, that's a problem. I don't know if it's even more of a problem that the boss of that job decided to email to everyone the picture of the urine in the trash bag. That probably ended up helping the person. That was probably a positive thing for the person that did it, because they obviously have a urine scatological fetish of some kind. And that probably made that person's absolute day, week, year, life that happened. That's what that person wanted. I'm sure of it. Wasn't me. I have privacy issues when it comes to relieving myself. I have to have, like, I can't stand it if there's someone in the stall next to me. That drives me crazy. It's hard to focus sometimes. My dog's having those issues right now, focusing on going. Part of it, too, is he's getting older. And that's just the thing they get when they get older. And they either go all at once at the wrong place, or you take them to the right place, the right time, and they don't go. It's annoying. At any rate, it is that can be a problem. That is a problem. There are answers to those problems somehow, some way. And I'm not going to solve them. Yo, check out this beat as the DJ No. If there is a problem, I'll solve it. I'm not going to do Vanilla Ice. I'm going to do a little Huey Lewis. Now, I know when you think of the 80s, you think of maybe Madonna, Prince. You think of, who's that? Phil Collins. But, Flock of Seagulls probably gets a lot of thought when it comes to the 1980s, possibly Journey. But people often forget about good old Huey Lewis, who comes from the Bay Area, or definitely has roots here. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast. I want to podcast Valleyton today. Mill Valley in specific, that club in Mill Valley was where they shot the album cover art for the album Sports. But it's interesting that, people forget that Huey Lewis pretty much ruled the 80s. His first song, if you look on Wikipedia at the chart, his first single goes all the way back to 1979, and a song called Exo Disco Kickback. He was in a band called American Express, and I believe, what the hell's his name? The tall guy from Asleep at the Wheel. He's this dude, I think he plays the fiddle. I used to know his name all the time, and I've kind of lost some of my country connections. But that guy and Huey Lewis, I believe, were in a band together. And then he, as Huey Lewis in the News, his first big single, it was his first single, was a song called Some of My Lies Are True, Sooner or Later. That didn't do anything for him, basically. And then there was a song called Now Here's You. That did nothing, too. Then he met a guy by the name of, and both those songs came out in 1980, by the way. Then in 1982, he joins forces with Shania Twain's ex-husband, Robert John Mutt Lang. That guy produced so many hit songs. AC/DC. He produced the Def Leppard album, Pyromania, and Hysteria. He produced I think he had something to do with Billy Ocean's success. Caribbean Queen, now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts still beat as one. Get out of my dreams, get into my car. And, of course, he had tremendous success with Shania Twain. A lot of her big hit songs he co-wrote. He co-wrote The Cars, Who's Gonna Drive You Home Tonight. He produced that song. He produced the... who else was it? I think he had something to do with the Backstreet Boys and also Heart. That song, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. He wrote that song. Robert John Mutt Lange did, not Huey Lewis. Anyway, I'm talking all about Mutt Lange because he co-wrote the song, Do You Believe in Love? Do you believe it's true? That was from the Huey Lewis and the News album called Picture This, and that was their first huge top 10 single. Went all the way to number 7. Then they had a follow-up song called Hope You Love Me Like You Say You Do. That went to 36. He also had a song called Working for a Living. You probably have heard that. That went to number 41. Then Sports came out. In 1983, the first single, 'Cause She's Heart and Soul, da-da-da-da-da-da, went to number 8, if I'm reading this chart correctly. But you still hear that on the radio all the time. And then I Want a New Drug, The Heart of Rock and Roll Still Beating, If This Is It, and then, I don't know. These songs, there were 2 songs that apparently I know really well, but you may not. But they're Walking on a Thin Line. That was about Vietnam veterans. And then he had a song called Finally Found a Home. Those were... Walking on a Thin Line hit the top 20, but it didn't do that good. I bring all this Huey Lewis and the News stuff up because then, of course, there's The Power of Love. Don't Need Money, Don't Need Fame from Back to the Future. He had the song Back in Time from Back to the Future. Then he had that album that had Stuck With You, Hip to Be Square, that had the sports San Francisco affiliation. He got the team to sing back up with them on it. Here, there, and everywhere, hip to be square. And then some of My Lies Are True sooner or later got re-released as a remix, but I don't remember that. And Jacob's Ladder, which then at that point, that song was written by Bruce Hornsby of Bruce Hornsby and the Range, and Huey Lewis had a deal with getting Bruce Hornsby and the Range started. And then, okay, here's the song. So here are a couple songs that were big. Jacob's Ladder, Hip to Be Square. I never hear those on the radio. They were huge. I Know What I Like. That was a big one. Doing It All for My Baby. That was big. And Perfect World. Perfect World was off of the album Small World. And that album had a song called Small World on it, too, that featured a famous, I think Sonny Rollins, the saxophone player, played on that. And then there was a song called Give Me the Keys and I'll Drive You Crazy. And right around then, his success wasn't as much anymore. The last big hit he had was All I Need Is Couple Days Off, dude. And then that was it pretty much for Huey Lewis. So there you go, the whole life of Huey Lewis in the News. Couple Days Off came out in 1990. I think it was 90, yeah. And then that was pretty much it. 91. Oh, 91. Okay. So there you go. So he ruled the 80s, I would say, wouldn't you? And we all forget about him. So next time one of your youngins or oldins talk about the 80s, just pipe up and say Huey Lewis and then cough. Because you're old. And that's pretty much it. That's the show, I think. Oh, we have a couple days off here out at Cafe Anyway that wanted to stop by and say hi. Let's say hi to them.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Huey Lewis was hot back in the 80s.
Yeah. In fact, he successfully sued Ray Parker Jr. for the song Ghostbusters because originally Ghostbusters had approached Huey Lewis and said, we want a song. And he said, okay, nope, never mind. So they told Ray Parker Jr., hey, do a song that sounds like Huey Lewis. And he came up with Ghostbusters, which used the same bass line as I Want a New Drug, as the story goes. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I was offended that Ray Parker Jr. stole from Huey Lewis.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
And there was also a story about how Phil Collins stole from Prince the 1999 song. Like it's 1999. Phil Collins did the song Studio and had that same dun 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 dun. It kind of sounds the same. Whatever. That's how we were in the 80s. That's probably still how we are. We sue each other. Somebody sued Robin Thicke for that song about the lines. Hey, I think we should wrap up the show because we said hi to everyone. And I think I want to say right here that next show it's going to be Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Hopefully I'll be able to get to you a show soon because my job, my work is taking up a big chunk of my life. My dog taking up a big chunk of my life. And I need a little more you time. I need a little more me time. And I need to work this out. So hopefully we'll work it out. But you know what? Not a problem. Am I right? Good.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!